Who's actually going to get the most out of a compact moving head like the Intimidator Spot 360X? And who would be better off putting that money toward a larger fixture or even a simple LED wash? If you're trying to decide whether a portable spot that promises wireless control and a dual prism design is worth the price for a regular gig runner, you're not alone. Most buyers hesitate because the market is flooded with bigger, flashier units that look impressive on paper but end up gathering dust when the tour bus hits the road. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. And I'm going to walk through the real-world trade-offs so you can avoid buying the wrong thing for your setup. Let's start with the core question. Are you a mobile DJ, a small venue lighting tech, or a wedding planner who needs a reliable spot that can be packed into a single flight case? The Intimidator Spot 360X is squarely aimed at that niche. Its compact label isn't just marketing fluff, it truly fits into a 12-inch rack space and weighs under 15 pounds, which means you can toss it into the back of a van alongside your speaker stack. For anyone who runs a one-man show or a two-person crew, that reduction in weight and volume translates directly into less time loading, less hassle at the venue, and more room for other gear like fog machines or additional LEDs. On the flip side, if you're a club lighting director who regularly runs 10+ fixtures on a single console, the 360X's size becomes a limitation. The fixture's throw distance is respectable, but because it relies on manual zoom rather than an automated lens motor, you'll need to preset the beam size before the show. That works fine for static setups. Think a wedding reception where the spotlight stays on the cake and the dance floor, but it can become a headache if you need to shift from a tight focus on a performer to a broader wash on the fly. In a high-energy club where the lighting designer likes to change the beam character every few bars, the lack of motorized zoom may feel like a step back. One of the biggest selling points that the manufacturer highlights is the built-in RF receiver. In practice, that means you can control the 360X with Chavit's RFC or RFCXL remote without having to run a separate DMX cable for each head. I've seen this work smoothly in a small outdoor wedding where the power source was a single generator and running a long DMX chain was a nightmare. The remote lets you pan, tilt, and adjust the prisms from a distance. And because the receiver is baked into the unit, you don't have to worry about extra dongles or adapters. The trade-off is that you're locked into Chavit's own remote ecosystem. If you already own a different brand's controller, you'll either need to purchase the RFC remote or resort to DMX control, which the unit does support but isn't its primary use case. So, if you already have an RF-compatible remote, you'll get immediate value. But if you're hoping to integrate it into an existing non-Chavit console, you might find the learning curve a little steep. The dual rotating prisms are where this spot really lives. Instead of a single static lens, the 360X splits the beam into two independent paths that can spin at different speeds. In a practical sense, this gives you a richer texture for beam effects without needing an additional moving head. I've used this on a corporate product launch where the presenter walked across a dark stage, and the prisms created a subtle, shimmering halo that made the moment feel more cinematic. The effect is especially noticeable when you pair the prisms with a tight manual zoom. You get a focused punch with a lively, moving texture that would otherwise require a separate effect generator. However, the dual prism system does come with a hidden compromise. Because the prisms share the same light engine, you lose some of the raw output you'd get from a single, larger moving head. In a large hall with a 20-foot ceiling, the spot can appear a bit dimmer compared to a 600-watt fixture, especially when you're trying to throw the beam across the farthest corners. The rating on Amazon is a perfect 5 stars from 8 reviewers, which suggests early adopters are pleased, but the sample size is small enough that you won't see a lot of nuanced criticism about output levels. In short, the 360X shines when you need a modestly bright, texture-rich spot for mid-size rooms, but you shouldn't expect it to dominate a stadium. The new home position feature is a subtle yet practical upgrade for programmers. When you hit the reset button on the remote or console, the head returns to a known default angle, which eliminates the dreaded "where did my beam go" moment that can happen after a power cycle. In a live event scenario where you have to reload a show quickly, say a wedding that runs over time, and you need to swap to a new set list, this makes the reprogramming process smoother. It's not